Hey friends, I'm so glad that you're here. Are you ready to take your watercolor curiosity to the next level? You are in the right place. Let's go ahead and get started.
Welcome to my studio. I've spent the last 10 years cultivating my watercolor practice, and now I'm here to share my very best tips and tricks with you. I love spending time in my garden and outdoors, and my work is often inspired by plants and animals. In these short and fun tutorials, we will explore a variety of topics like brushstrokes, colors, and paint handling techniques. And because comparison and perfectionism are the thief of joy, I promise we will never, ever take ourselves too seriously. For today's simple fall wreath tutorial, you will need a size 6 round watercolor brush, a square sheet of paper, a pencil, and something to trace that is a circle shape. Be sure that the circle you trace is in the center of your paper. Loading my brush with yellow paint, I'm going to start on the outside of the wreath, painting these leaf shapes that are basically a stem with smaller leaves on them. First, I'm painting the base of the leaf, then I'm adding smaller leaves attached to it, working outward in. I'm starting with yellow paint because it's the lightest color I'll be using today. After adding the yellow leaves to the outside of the wreath, I'm now adding them to the inside, going in the same direction as the outside leaves. Next, using orange paint, I'm starting to add larger leaf shapes to the wreath. Continuing to add orange leaves, I'm working in the same direction that the yellow leaves are pointed in. I'm looking to create balance with my leaf placement. It doesn't need to be super symmetrical, just needs to be balanced. Using red paint, next I'm going to continue filling in the wreath shape with medium-sized leaves. You can see where I've touched my brush to wet leaves on the paper and I've created a nice bleed effect. Continually turning your paper while you work is helpful because it helps you to see where there might be holes in your wreath and find spots where you need to fill it in. Using brown paint and the tip of my brush, I'm going to start to add some dainty brown twigs. By switching to a thinner stroke for the brown twigs, I'm creating some nice variation for my wreath composition. You may also notice that I haven't gotten more paint on my brush. I've loaded up enough paint on my brush so that I can make it all the way around the wreath and finish all the twigs in one go. I've mixed a little bit of red and brown paint together, and now using the tip of my brush, I'm just going to go through my wreath and add some really small berries. When it comes to adding berries to my botanical paintings, I like to do some singly, and I like to also do some in clusters just to add some variance to my artwork. Lastly, once my leaves are dry, I can go back and I can add some small vein details. Tiny details like the veins in the leaves are a great finishing touch. I hope you've enjoyed this quick, fun and festive fall tutorial. If you found this video helpful, I hope you'll consider joining me for a longer format live virtual workshop. Until next time, friends, stay watercolor curious.